Hey guys, happy Monday and welcome to another huge episode of Triggered. What an absolutely historic day for this country. What an incredible day for American strength. And what a devastating day for the cartels. And what a glorious day for American hockey. We have so much to get into today. The leader of one of the most powerful and dangerous drug cartels on the planet is dead. There is chaos in Mexico right now as the cartel tries to retaliate. And by the way, the United States of America just won gold in the men's hockey at the Olympics for the first time in 46 years. And we did it by beating Canada in overtime on the anniversary of the miracle on ice. And the only people crying about it are the Canadians and, of course, the media. So, guys, buckle up. Check it out. It's going to be a packed show, so much to cover. Make sure you guys are liking, sharing, subscribing so you never miss one of these major episodes. Remember, if you do miss the show here on Rumble, go over to Apple and Spotify. Check it out there. If your friends get their podcast that way, make sure they know about it. For all the top headlines that we cover here on the show, go over to my news app, MXM News, like minute by minute, where you can get the mainstream news without the mainstream bias. And of course, don't forget about our brave sponsors for having the guts to support this program. Sponsors like the Birch Gold Group. Gold has risen over 700% in the last 20 years, and it's why smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals with the Birch Gold Group. It's a crucial part of a balanced strategy and gives you peace of mind knowing that you're prepared for the future. Birch Gold can help you convert in an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. So just text my name, Don Jr., D-O-N-J-R, to the number 989898 to receive your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation. Just educate yourself with some useful information. Again, text my name, Don Jr., D-O-N-J-R, to the number 989898. Do it today. And guys, we're covering all of these major news stories. Spend some time on Polymarket where you can see what real people are putting real money on. Actual events. You can go to Polymarket and trade and follow all of this in real time. Just look at your screen. You can trade on everything from politics to sports to pop culture and so much more. Right now, you can even trade on whether the US will confirm that aliens exist before 2027. Polymarket gives you a perspective you don't get from the headlines. So go to Polymarket and check it out for yourself. And now, guys, let's get into all of the top headlines. And we'll start with the big story down in Mexico, where Mexican authorities have confirmed that the cartel kingpin known as El Mencho, the founder and leader of CJNG, I guess, was killed in a military operation over the weekend. He had a $15 million bounty on his head. This was one of the most wanted men on the planet and indicted by the Department of Justice for conspiracy to manufacture and distribute fentanyl, methamphetamines, and cocaine into the United States. And according to intelligence, his cartel had a presence in all 50 states. They were flooding our communities with poison. And now he's done. He's gone. The cartels responded by unleashing a wave of violence across Puerto Vallarta and other cities across the country, lighting up cars, shutting down airports, putting up blockades, and exchanging fire with local police. Check this out. El Mencho was one of the bloodiest and most ruthless drug kingpins alive. And for far too long, he was able to inflict pain, suffering, and death across our hemisphere. Now, this did not happen in a vacuum. This happened because of a bold, decisive actions. This happened because the Trump administration designated the CJNG as a foreign terrorist organization back in February of last year. Just like we saw with the capture of Maduro and blowing up drug boats, we are not going to sit by while our country is poisoned with drugs and with violence, with no consequence. And by the way, remember back in March when our State Department revoked the visas of Mexican band that was glorifying El Mencho at their concerts? Because once again, this isn't the Obama or Biden administration that just let this behavior run rampant with no consequences. Check it out. That's the kind of posture that sends a message. Imagine they're operating in 50 states. We know it. You see the damage in those videos. It's insane. These guys are paramilitary operations. We're glorifying narco-terrorists in America. You don't get to come to America. You enable cartels, you're gone. For years, for decades, previous administrations treated these cartels like a minor nuisance. They'd send a sternly worded letter. They'd have summits. They'd wring their hands while doing nothing. Meanwhile, the fentanyl kept flowing, the bodies kept piling up, and the cartels kept growing more and more powerful. President Trump said on day one, these are terrorist organizations. And you know what? When you start treating terrorists like terrorists, things start to change, and they change fast. Now, the situation in Mexico right now is intense. After the operation, the cartels launched narco blockades across at least 6 states. So think about how pervasive they are. 6 states in Mexico, not a small country. They torched vehicles. They blocked highways. They shut down parts of Puerto Vallarta, a major tourist destination, burning buses, setting fires visible across the city. Just take a look at this footage. It's crazy. The airport in Guadalajara saw absolute chaos. People running through the terminal in a panic. Flights were canceled by Delta, Southwest, Alaska, Air Canada, all suspended service. Take a look at the scene at the airport.
Cuidado, no se crucen. Cuidado, cuidado. No, cuidado, cuidado. No manches.
Authorities declared a code red. They told residents to shelter in place. American tourists were left stranded at hotels and airports. And the U.S. Embassy issued a shelter-in-place advisory for American citizens in multiple Mexican states. But here's what separates strength from weakness. You don't back down because the bad guys throw a tantrum. You keep going. You take the next one and the one after that. Because the alternative, The Biden approach, the Obama approach, was to look the other way while Americans died by the tens of thousands every single year from this poison that they've been peddling. This is what it's going to take for a secure hemisphere. You designate these animals as what they are, terrorists. You squeeze them financially, you squeeze them diplomatically, and you squeeze them forcefully. Now, the media is going to try to spin this. We've already seen this one before. How many times? Pretty much every time. When they started defending narco-terrorists as, poor fishermen looking for a better life. Yeah, with quad Mercs on the back of a go-fast boat. Yeah, that's a totally normal fishing boat in Venezuela. Give me a break. They're going to interview so-called experts who will wring their hands about this strategy and warn about the dangers of making the cartels mad. But you know what, guys? That's not an argument for inaction. That's not an argument for letting the most powerful drug lord on the planet continue to operate freely while American kids die from fentanyl-laced pills they bought on social media. That's the most insane logic I've ever even heard. And it's the logic that got 100,000 Americans killed every year for years while nobody did anything. And just so everyone understands, these cartels operate like their own military, like their own nation. They have their tentacles across global economies, within law enforcement agencies, and even within the Mexican military. This is not a ragtag group of criminals who are just going to go away. This is a paramilitary narco-terrorist empire, and its leader is now gone. Check this out. These are the types of people Democrats wanted to let in our country. Just give them a chance, guys. Maybe they're peddling fentanyl, but maybe we can turn them around by putting them on some government cheese. I'm sure that'll do it. Let them go. I'm sure they'll assimilate. They won't keep doing it once they get a taste of America. They're making billions of dollars a month, but I'm sure they can go make a minimum wage job somewhere and be totally satisfied. The gang members and the drug dealers, Democrats would go to bat for. That's who we're talking about. And even now, they're still against mass deportations. No deportations, frankly, is the official Democrat Party position. Just see for yourself.
We have to abolish ICE. We have to abolish the Customs and Border Patrol in the way that they currently exist and replace them with something that actually does the work that we need for them to, and that is effective at holding these people in this administration accountable. I'll tell you what the work is not. The work is not killing American citizens.
You said the work we need them to
community.
do. I'm interested in your opinion. What is the work that we need them to do?
Absolutely. One, the work is not killing American citizens.
No, what is the work we need them to do?
Well, first, let's look at what they don't need to do. They don't need to go into communities like Memphis,
Tennessee. Do they need to deport illegal aliens?
Where they're currently terrorizing and traumatizing our communities. What we also need to make sure is that we have elected officials who are creating a pathway of opportunity for people who are currently undocumented.
Do we need a federal law enforcement agency to deport illegal aliens, yes or no?
We do need a federal law enforcement agency that deals with immigration, that doesn't kill people.
To deport illegal aliens,
what we do also need is laws that make sure that people who are undocumented...
Is there a single illegal alien that you would deport?
You know, this is what I want you to focus
one.
on.
Is there
what I
one?
want you to focus on. There are a lot of people in this country and in this community, in our communities, that have done so much to make them better, and we need to be prioritizing how we create opportunity.
Is this the Democratic position for 26?
The
that there are
Democratic
no
position
illegal
in
aliens that should be
26,
deported?
the Democratic position in 26 is that we don't terrorize American citizens, we don't terrorize undocumented
If you were
people,
advising
and we
Democrats in
don't kill
26, would you
people
advise
like
them to
Alex
answer this
Preddy
question
and
this
Renee
way,
Good.
that you can't say there is a single illegal alien that should be deported by the federal government?
What is shocking to me is that you think you can narrow the challenges of
It's not narrow, it's broad. There's 20 million
that you can challenge the issues of immigration into one yes or no question, when the reality is the policies and practices
should we follow
of
the law
this
is the yes or no
administration have led to the deaths of American citizens and has not produced the results that
No
we want.
deportations. That's the Democratic position.
And remember what we heard from Democrats last week in Munich? That the real enemy is the Trump agenda for being too harsh with deportations. Too harsh? Seriously? Are you guys kidding at this point? And now, AOC, of course, we knew it was coming, guys. Just wait for it. AOC is having a full-blown crash out, making it clear that she is a true expert on foreign policy. Check out the AOC meltdown.
If you think that I don't understand foreign policy because out of hours of discourse about international affairs, I pause to think about one of the most sensitive geopolitical issues that currently exist on Earth, I'm afraid the issue's not my understanding, but rather the problem is perhaps you've gotten adjusted to a president that never thinks before he speaks.
I mean, a week after Munich, after what we saw there, I know we discussed it on the show last week. Guys, the jokes really do write themselves at this point. And speaking of which, did you see what Gavin Newsom did this weekend? While speaking in front of a black audience, he decided to really try to bond with the group by saying that he had low SAT scores and can't read. I literally, okay, I gotta ask my team because I thought it was AI. Is it real? It's really bad. He's like, I got like a 960 SAT. I can't read. He's literally trying to bond with people by being like, hey, I'm stupid and I can't, and illiterate. And I quote, I'm one of y'all. I can't believe that's not a deep fake. Talk about racism. That's how he wants to bond with someone, by literally being like, yeah, man, I'm stupid and illiterate. I'm just like you. Imagine I said that. Imagine what would happen if I said what Gavin Newsom said. Imagine what would happen. I wouldn't be welcome in polite society, anywhere, even anywhere. It's insane. It's like a scene out of Dave Chappelle's The Black White Supremacist. Remember Clayton Bigsby? It's like that. That's how insane it is.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. and I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. Maybe the wrong business to be in.
It really is like a scene out of The Office or something like that, guys. Gavin Newsom says he relates to black people because he struggled on the SAT and with reading. Again, the jokes write themselves. So while I still can't believe it's not AI, I was like, okay, this is pretty funny. But wow, it's actually real. I was going through it just, on X and Truth and stuff like that. I saw those clips yesterday. I was like, and I always go through it. I see what I like. I send it to the team. We sort of aggregate it for the show. And I don't think I even sent that because I just literally assumed it had to be fake. But here we are, guys, 2026. That's how you bond, I guess. So while California continues to crumble under Newsom's leadership, New York City is getting slammed by another major blizzard. And the communists don't quite seem prepared. I know you're shocked. I know I'm shocked. And just to write some more jokes, what does the city's proud communist mayor do? He goes on camera and begs New Yorkers to become emergency snow shovelers. Because apparently, the government that was going to take care of everything for everybody for free can't even shovel its own sidewalks. But it sounds simple enough, right? If you want to help, grab your shovel and get going. Well, it's not so simple, guys. Here's where it gets absolutely hilarious. To shovel snow in Zohran Mamdani's New York City, to pick up a shovel and clear a bus stop, you need to bring multiple forms of identification. Check this out.
There's been this controversy over the snow laborers and the sort of what some see as onerous need to have documentation. Can you just talk about if that's new and what you make of the controversy?
This is all long-standing. This is a long-standing program and long-standing requirements, and this is a way that New Yorkers get paid to shovel snow in assistance with the city's response to a winter storm event. Federal law requires that employers get authorization and documentation to pay people for their work. We are not allowed to just cut checks to individuals for their work. And these are the policies that we've had in place, but I understand that for many, it's the first time that they've ever heard about it.
Now, guys, remind me again, how many forms of ID do you need to vote in New York City? None. You can show up with the lint from your drying machine and be like, here you go, I'm whoever I say I am, and I can vote. But to shovel snow in New York, to be able to volunteer and shovel snow in New York, to get maybe a couple bucks an hour, maybe the city's gonna pay you a little bit, you need to bring 2 forms of ID. But to vote, to cast a ballot in an election that determines the fate of the largest city in America, millions and millions of people, you have to show up with jack crap and just say, take my word for it. Think of how insane that is. Every time. It was like Governor or Senator Ossoff in Georgia. You need ID to show up to a rally. A rally. You're just going to listen to the guy speak. You need ID to show up to that, but not to vote. As it turns out, the New York City Board of Elections doesn't require most registered voters to show any identification at all. First-time voters just need the last 4 digits of their social security number. And even that, I'm sure, has a total lack of oversight. Be like, I don't know, 3621. Maybe it's 3622. Who cares? Okay, vote. Go ahead. Have fun. What could possibly go wrong? Shovel snow? We need two forms of ID. How is shoveling snow in New York City? How come there are no Democrats on TV right now screaming that shoveling snow in New York City is now Jim Crow 2.0? Because everything else that requires ID that doesn't get Democrats power needs ID and isn't Jim Crow 2.0. But actually needing an ID to register to vote or to show up to vote, that is somehow Jim Crow 2.0. Please explain to me, like I'm a 3-year-old, the difference. Please explain to me how one is Jim Crow 2.0 and the other makes total sense. Please explain to me how shoveling snow requires multiple forms of identification, but to register to vote and to actually vote requires next to nothing. You can just make it up. Explain it to me. I don't get it. Maybe we'll see something in the comments. So, again, to be clear, let's get this straight. Democrats claim that voter ID is racist. Remember Jim Crow 2.0. You've heard every major Democrat and every major news personality for the last few weeks since talking about the Save America Act get on TV and tell us that it's racist. They've spent years telling us that requiring ID to vote is Jim Crow 2.0, that it's discriminatory, that it disenfranchises minorities. They've frankly said that people are too dumb to be able to get ID. If you're too dumb to be able to get ID, are you not too dumb to be able to get ID to shovel snow? That's an insurmountable burden on the poor and elderly. That's what it is. It's insurmountable. They can't get over it. But, if you can shovel snow, totally be able to get ID. It's all bullshit. It's all totally made up. Again, to pick up a shovel. Oh, now suddenly you need more documentation than you need to get a mortgage? The chatter on X this weekend called it Jim Snow 2.0. I like that. It's pretty good. I'm sort of shocked I didn't come up with that one myself. This is absurd. Think about it. Think about the absurdity here. The Save America Act, which would require proof of citizenship to get registered and an ID to vote in federal elections, just passed the House and now is in the Senate. And the entire Democrat establishment is losing their minds over it. Chuck Schumer is promising to block it. But ask someone to bring a passport with photos, a social security card, and 2 forms of ID, copies, just to shovel a sidewalk for $19 an hour? That's totally fine. That's good governance, guys. That's not Jim Crow 2.0. That's logical. Of course, one is far more important than the other and therefore requires ID. It's not Jim Crow 2.0 to need ID to get a bank account. Poor people, right? They still get a paycheck. They need to put it in the bank. They still maybe occasionally get to travel to family or see them, get a cheap flight on an airline to be able to go somewhere once in a while, even if they're pretty poor. I'm sure they still do it. They need ID to do that. It's not Jim Crow 2.0 to not allow people to travel. The hypocrisy here is so thick, well, you could shovel it. In Zohran Mamdani's socialist utopia, it takes 2 forms of ID to shovel snow, but no ID to vote. Please, guys, make it make sense. But you can't. You can't make it make sense because it doesn't make sense. Because the whole voter ID opposition was never about protecting voters. It was about protecting a system that benefits Democrats. And they're just accidentally proved it with a snow shovel. So I'd like to thank Democrat Player of the Week for the Republican Party, Mayor Mamdani. Thank you for that. We couldn't have made the case for voter ID better if we'd written it ourselves. But when it comes to winter ice, yesterday was nothing but good news. Team USA men's hockey has won the Olympic gold medal, the first time in 46 years since the 1980 Miracle on Ice, beating Canada 2-1 in overtime. Jack Hughes scored the game-winning goal less than 2 minutes into overtime. Just take a look at this. What an awesome experience. First words after the game, listen to this one because it's big. Such a difference, such a refreshing difference. He said, "This is all about our country. I love the USA. I'm so proud to be an American today." Check it out.
We both shut it down at probably 11:30. I could hear him, these barracks, man, I can hear him rolling around in bed. And we're rolling for like 2 hours. I'm like, I think he asked me, what are you thinking about? And I'm like, this is 2 hours in. I'm like, man, I just keep replaying my OT winner. What about you? He's like, same, man. I keep like thinking about my OT winner tomorrow. And that's what you dream about, you know? When you're 6 years old, 7, I'm 24 now, I'm still dreaming that. And, this is the best moment in USA hockey in a long time. And to be a part of this group, like I said, to do it with my brother. We've had such a fun couple weeks, me and Quinn, in the Olympic Village. And we're just happy this is the way we finished it.
Guys, that's what representing your country looks like. Not whining about politics, not doing it for the Democrat sound bites or the narrative, kowtowing to the media, probably planning to get some, corporate woke sponsorship later on. Not saying it gives you mixed emotions because you probably don't even know what you're talking about. Not deflecting or moving to China to skate for them despite being born in America, raised in America, educated in America. But, they'll write you the big checks. None of that. After the victory, here's the beautiful moment where they honored the late Johnny Gradeau. For those who don't know, Johnny Gradeau and his brother Matthew were tragically killed in 2024 when they were hit by a car while riding bikes near their New Jersey hometown. The team had his number 13 jersey hanging in their locker room throughout the entire tournament, and after winning gold, they skated with it alongside the American flag. That's what sports should be. That's what the Olympics should be. Pride, heart, honoring those who came before you, representing something far greater than yourself. And here's my father talking on the phone with the team for an awesome moment. Check this out.
1 minute. 1 minute. And by the way, your goalie played not bad.
Howie, say hi. Howie, say hi to him.
How you doing, Don? I have seen hockey goalies have slightly worse games. It was unbelievable, and you were all unbelievable. And that team is pretty good you played. I don't know if it's going to begin anytime soon, right? And, I tell you what, I just told my people 2 minutes ago, I didn't know they'd be calling. I said, we're giving the State of the Union speech on Tuesday night. I could send a military plane or something, but if you would like to, it's the coolest night, it's the biggest.
We're in.
Speech.
Can you pick us up in Miami on Tuesday morning?
Yeah, Tuesday morning. Close the northern border. We'll get cash and we'll get the military to get you guys over.
Let's go.
Boys are going to the State of the Union. The nice thing about being president is I can tell you, you don't have to worry about the weather or landing. So we don't care if it's snowing, if it's the worst blizzard, we'll be sailing through that story just like you did on the ice.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Now we'll do it at the White House anytime. What would really be cool, and we'll do the White House the next day, we'll just have some fun. We have medals for you guys. And we have to, I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that. I do believe I probably would be impeached, okay? But anyway, if you could work that out, I would be honored to have you. I'll introduce you to the whole...
I got it, boss. I got it.
Okay, you got it, Cash.
I'm on it.
Cash is doing it. I'm happy.
I'm fucking on it.
Congratulations. That was an unbelievable game. I don't know if one person that wasn't, everybody that called me said I'm watching the hockey game. I don't know if anybody that wasn't. And you're going to be proud of that game for 50 years as you grow older. I mean, it was amazing. So we love you guys. Congratulations. And I hope to see you, Cash, Tuesday night. And I want to shake hands. I'm going to shake hands with everybody, but I got to shake hands with that goalie.
Tuesday night. We'll see you Tuesday night, Mr. President.
See you Tuesday night.
I'm driving the bus, boss. We're bringing the whole bus.
The USA women's hockey team also won gold this year. By the way, also beating Canada 2-1 in overtime on Thursday. We swept Canada in both hockey gold medal games, men and women, both in overtime, both 2-1. You can't script it any better than that, okay? I can see the eagle coming in and just grabbing that Canada goose and just eating it on the ice. And figure skater Alyssa Liu also took home gold in Milan, and that victory carried with it an even bigger geopolitical implication. The CCP was so furious, the Chinese Communist Party was so mad that Alyssa refused to skate for Team China that they sent spies after her and her father in America. The FBI discovered the plot, and they were prosecuted. They were persecuted by the CCP for the Tiananmen Square protests and fled America. Think about that. They fled China because of the Tiananmen Square protests, came to America, raised an incredible kid, did not go back and take the big, big China paychecks to compete for them, and she won gold proudly as an American. That's awesome. Team USA finished with 33 gold medals, or it's 33 total medals, 12 gold, 12 silver, 9 bronze. The most gold medals ever for the US at a single Winter Games. An absolutely incredible and dominant performance. But who's upset about all of this? Well, of course, the media. The Huffington Post wrote, if waving the American flag turns you off, you're not alone. I mean, think about that. You're competing for your country, right? That's what if turning the flag turns you off, you're not alone. I guess we're supposed to be the sole nation at the Olympics that is not there to represent their country. We're supposed to pretend that that's normal? Now, I would be absolutely remiss if I didn't take a moment here to address our friends to the north. Canada, oh Canada. You know, Trudeau said back in 25, and this is a real quote, you will not take away our country just as you will not take away our game. Well, Justin, you know, about that, we didn't just take the game, we took it twice. Men's gold, women's gold, both against Canada, both into overtime in the same Olympics. The hockey team wins gold. The cartels lose their kingpin. America is back. Of course, they could have gold if they were the 51st state, but, you know, that's a topic for another day, guys, you know? So, I don't know. Maybe it's still an option. Maybe you carve off Alberta, maybe the Yukon, some of the more conservative places. I'm not sure we want the rest of the stuff because what's going on there is insane. And I know the Canadians in the chat that follow this one certainly agree. Now, I do want to briefly touch on the tariff situation because a lot is happening here. And frankly, it can be a little hard to follow. As you all know, the Supreme Court handed down a ruling on Friday striking down the IEEPA-based tariffs in a 6-3 decision. And look, was it disappointing? Sure. Do I wish certain justices had more backbone? Absolutely. But we've seen this. You know, John Roberts is basically a Democrat. Whenever it matters, it's easy to be a Supreme Court justice, even the conservative ones in D.C., as long as you give up on the big ones like they always do. But here's what the media won't tell you. My father didn't skip a beat. Within hours, he signed a new executive order imposing tariffs under Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974, a completely different legal authority, and started at 10%. And that, by Saturday, he raised it to 15%, effective immediately. And the world knows my father is serious. They know the tariffs are coming one way or another, and they'd rather negotiate than fight. If you read some of the dissents on these things, they were brilliant. If you read the 6 vote, they were literally trying to justify this in machinations that if you converted it to literally anything else, it would make absolutely no sense. But again, you're always going to have a bunch of these guys that are just too weak to fight back. They don't follow the letter of the law. They understand what the narrative, and they try to create some sort of crazy chart to show you, well, this is how we get there, and it's fine. Just please like me, Democrats. Invite me to the cool person Christmas party. The administration will use multiple existing tariff authorities to maintain virtually unchanged tariff revenue in 2026. The tools are there to keep this on the right path. You've seen the inward investment. You've seen the money it's collecting. It's working. It takes time to fully matriculate into the economy, but it's working. Frankly, I think the net beneficiary is whoever wins in 2028 because this stuff is going to be generational, game-changing. So while the left is doing their little victory dance over the Supreme Court ruling, the president has already moved forward. He's already found the path because that's what leaders do. That's what business guys do. They don't sit around and do nothing. They find a way to win. They find a way to make it work. They fight back. And guys, I want you to step back for a second here and see the big picture. This is all what American strength looks like in every arena. When you project strength, when you refuse to back down, when you treat threats as threats and enemies as enemies, good things start to happen. And when you project weakness like we did for the last 4 years, when you look the other way, when you treat the border like an inconvenience and the cartels like a nuisance, you get 100,000 dead Americans a year. You get fentanyl in every city in this country. You get a world that doesn't respect you. That is a choice. That's the choice. That's always been the choice. And right now, America is choosing strength. And it is a beautiful thing to watch. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Triggered. Remember to like, to share, to subscribe, download the Rumble app so you can watch it on your smart TV. Share this episode with your friends. Please share it, okay? Liking is important. It takes 2 seconds. You can do that right now while I'm still talking, okay? Share it with your friends. Get the message out there. Check us out on Apple and Spotify. If you also get your podcast that way, or if your friends do, share it from there. Make sure we get the message out because, frankly, not many people are going to tell you the truth. Check out our great sponsors down below and in the video description, people who have the guts to support this kind of programming. So, guys, stay strong, stay informed, stay engaged, and always stay a little bit triggered. Thanks a lot, guys, and I'll talk to you all again on Thursday.